Scores for a civil service exam are normally distributed with a mean of 75 and a standard deviation of 6.5. To be eligible for civil service employment, you must score in the top 5%. Okay, the top 5% means that you're going to have 5% of the scores in the upper tail of the curve. So that z-score is going to be positive. But remember to use our table. Our table talks about probabilities to the left of the curve. If you have 0.05 to the right, that means you have 0.95 or 0.9500 to the left. So we're going to go to the second page of our normal table, the one with the positive z-values, and look for 0.9500. As we saw in a previous example, that number does not fall in the table, but actually falls exactly halfway between between 0.9495 and 0.9505. The z-scores corresponding to those probabilities are 1.64 and 1.65. Since ours is exactly halfway between, we take 1.645 as the desired z-score. But look what it's asking for here. It's asking for the lowest score on the exam that you can earn. Now this exam had a mean of 75, so to be in the top 5%, you're certainly not going to have a grade less than 2. So 1.645 is not our answer. This is a z. We need to find x. Now, our formula that relates z to x, the one we used in our last lesson, was z equals x minus mu over sigma. Typically, we use this when we were converting from x to z, but in this problem, we're going to need to convert from z to x because we know z, we know mu, and we know sigma. We need to find x. So to solve this equation, we get rid of the fraction by multiplying both sides of the equation by 6.5. And then we get rid of the minus 75 by adding 75 to both sides of the equation. Now we go to our calculator. Remember, the order of operations is to multiply first, then add the 75. My calculator gives me 85.6925, but remember, a score in a test is a whole number, so here, to get into that top 5%, you need to score an 86, or obviously 86 or better, to be in that top 5%. Now, if you had a little trouble with the algebra that I did in going from here to here, the alternative to doing the algebra is to let me do it once, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get a new version of this formula, and then you can you can memorize the new version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this formula here, and I'm going to solve it for x. So first, I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by sigma. The sigmas on the left cancel. It gives me x minus mu equals z sigma. And now I'm going to add mu to both sides of the equation, and I get the formula x equals mu plus z times sigma. If you'd like, you can memorize this formula here, which is just a rewritten version of the formula from the last lesson, and that will prevent you from having to do those 2 steps of algebra in these reverse normal problems.